Still in Chapter 3, Section 5, Graphing Linear Equations in Slope-Intercept Form, Part 2. We've been talking about it for a couple of days. What is slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. If you do not have that memorized, you need to have that memorized. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Today we're really just going to be getting into graphing in this form, and that's pretty much all we're going to be doing. Okay? So, graph 2x plus y equals 2. Identify the x-intercept. Well, if I want to use slope-intercept form to graph, what do I need to make sure which form my equation is in? Which form do I want it in? Slope-intercept form. So I want which variable by itself? I want my y variable by itself. So is this equation in slope-intercept form? No. How would I get it there? How would I get y by itself here? How would I get y by itself here? 2x plus y equals 2. Any ideas? If I have 2x being added to y and it's a positive 2x, how would I get rid of the 2x with the y? Thank you. Subtract 2x from both sides. Can I combine a 2 minus 2x? No, they're not like terms, so I just have to write it out. I'm going to write it, writing the x value first. So negative 2x, that's a positive 2, so I would put plus 2. I just put the x first for slope-intercept form purposes. If you put 2 minus 2x, that's fine as well. Is y now by itself? Yes, this is now slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and identify our slope. What's our slope here? The number being multiplied by x. Negative 2. How would I write negative 2 as a fraction? Negative 2 over 1. Anytime I have a whole number, to make it a fraction for our graphing purposes, just put it over 1. Everyone okay with that? Questions on my slope here? Okay, what's my b value, my y-intercept, my constant, my number without a variable? Positive 2. Any questions how I got either of those things? Does anyone remember how we graph in slope-intercept form from pre-algebra? It's okay if you don't. We'll learn about it today. But does anyone vaguely remember what we do? Anyone know what I graph first? My b, my y-intercept. My y-intercept, when graphing in slope-intercept form, will always, always, always be my starting point. Does that make sense? First off, what is a y-intercept? What is a y-intercept just in general? You guys remember? Yep, it's the point where my graph crosses my y-axis, right? So where's my graph of this line crossing my y-axis? Positive 2. So I find 2 on my y-axis, and I put a point. The y-intercept will be your starting point. Does that make sense? Because I know exactly where that point is. I know it's where it's crossing the y-axis. I know that that is my y-intercept, so I can go ahead and put a point there. Slope is what over what? Rise over run. Okay? Rise is my vertical movement. Everyone okay with that? So if it's positive, which direction do you think I'm going? up. If it's a negative in my numerator, I'm going
Down.
down. Run is my horizontal movement. If it's positive, I'm going right. If it's negative, I'm going left. Okay? So, from my y-intercept, I'm going to go which two directions based on my slope? Down how many? Down 2, because it's a negative 2. Go ahead and just write it up here. And then which other direction? Right how many? Right 1. Does that make sense? It's a negative 2 for my rise, so I'm going down 2. It's a positive 1 for my run, so I'm going right 1. From my y-intercept. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go from this point, down 2, right 1, put a point right there. Down 2, right 1. Does everyone see how this point is down 2 and right 1 from my y-intercept? Okay. And I can just keep doing that from each point. From this point, I can go down 2, right 1. From this point, I can go down 2, right 1. This point, I can go down 2, right 1. That's the slope of my line. Everyone okay with how we got those ordered pairs? When we're graphing in slope-intercept form, I want you to fit as many points on the graph as you can. Does that make sense? How many points do I want you to have? As many as you can fit. I used to just say 5 when we were using a table of values, but using this process goes a lot faster. The more points you have on your graph, the more accurate your line is going to be. So I want you to get as many points as you can fit. Okay? Does it look like I might be able to fit any more points anywhere else? Where? This direction in my second quadrant, right? How would I get those points? Very good. I can always change the signs of both my numerator and denominator. So negative 2 would become a positive 2. Positive 1 would become negative 1. Is 2 divided by negative 1 still negative 2? Yeah. So I didn't really change my slope, did I? It's still the same as my original slope, but it helps me get more points on my graph. Does that make sense? So now it's a positive 2 over a negative 1, so which two directions would I be going now? Up 2 because it's a positive 2 is my rise. Left 1 because it's a negative 1 is my run. Does that make sense? It's the exact opposite of what I just did. Okay? So, going from my starting point again, my y-intercept, I can go up 2, left 1. Up 2, left 1. Everyone okay with that? How many points do I want you to have? As many as you can fit. So I'm going to keep going up 2, left 1 until I have no more room. Are there any questions how I got any of my ordered pairs here? Once you cannot fit any more ordered pairs, I can now connect my points with my line. Once again, I would recommend using your ID as a straight edge. Put your arrows on your lines because I can keep my slope going forever and ever and ever, right? And there's my graph. Any questions on that? What else does it tell me to do here? Identify the x-intercept. What is an x-intercept? In general, just what is an x-intercept? Yeah, it's where my graph's crossing the x-axis. So what ordered pair is my graph crossing the x-axis? 1, 0. And there's my x-intercept. We okay with that? Any questions? How do we feel after just looking at one example? Good. Some of us good, some of us not so good. We're going to do a few more. But always know that if it's not in slope-intercept form and you're trying to graph in slope-intercept form, that's the form you need to get it in first. Identify your slope, y-intercept. Get your points. Okay? Can I erase and do the next example? So let's do y equals negative 4/5 x plus 3. Let's graph that. First off, is it already in slope-intercept form for me?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So I can jump straight to identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Okay? What is my slope here? Negative 4/5. When it's in slope-intercept form, the slope will always be the number being multiplied by x. Always. Okay? And what's my y-intercept? 3. We good with that? Okay, what do I need to graph first? My y-intercept. My y-intercept will always be my starting point because I know exactly where that point is. What did we say our y-intercept was? 3. The y-intercept is where my graph is crossing the y-axis, right? So find 3 on the y-axis and put a point. That's our starting point for our graph. Any confusion with that? Always graph the y-intercept first when graphing in slope-intercept form. What's my slope? Negative 4/5. Let me ask you this though. Does the negative go with the 4? Does the negative go with the 5? Or does it go with both the 4 and the 5? Both the 4 and the 5. So you're saying like that? A negative divided by a negative gives me a positive, so I can't have that, can I? No, I can't do that. Goes with the top one? Why not the bottom one?
I don't know.
Here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to use both. Okay? Not at the same time, but we're going to do one at a time. Because we're going to get points on both sides of our y-axis, right? So I can put it with the 4 first. Negative 4 divided by 5 would be negative 4/5, right? So, with it like this, which two directions would I be going and how many units?
Down 4. Right.
Down 4, right 5. Everyone okay with that? It's a negative 4, so I'm going down 4. It's a positive 5, so I'm going right 5. When we're doing slope, your numerator will always be an up or down movement. Our denominator will always be a left or right movement. Okay? Starting point is our y-intercept. So from there, I'm going down 4, right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You okay with that? How many points do I want you to get on your graph? As many as you can. As many as you can fit on the graph. So from this point, I'm going to go down 4 and right 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I fit any more that direction? No, I can't go down 4, right 5 anymore. Can I? What other two directions can I go though? Yep, I can change the signs of both my numerator and denominator. Negative 4 becomes positive 4. Positive 5 becomes negative 5. Did I keep my slope the same as my original? Yeah, positive 4 divided by negative 5 is a negative 4/5. And like you guys said, we're going up 4 now and left 5. Okay with that? From my y-intercept, my starting point, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I fit any more? 1, 2, 3. Nope, if I go up 4, I'll be off the graph. That's all my ordered pairs that I can fit. So I stop there, connect my points with a line, Make it straighter than mine. Use your ID as a straight edge. Put your arrows on the ends of your lines. Any questions on this example? We okay? Can I erase and give you another one? I'll take that as a yes. Let's graph y equals x minus 2. Y equals x minus 2. First off, is this in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Y is by itself. We got an x term and a constant on the right-hand side. So, what would my slope be here? What?
1x.
Not 1x. We don't ever include x as our slope. But what's the number being multiplied by x?
1.
Just 1. Everyone okay with that? If I don't have a number in front of x, it's understood to be 1. Any questions about that? Well, how would I write 1 as a fraction? 1 over 1. So there's my slope. What is my y-intercept here? Negative 2. Make sure you make that a negative 2. If it's a minus 2, that's the same thing as negative 2. So it's got to be negative 2. Questions how we got either of those? What do I need to graph first? What? Yeah, your y-intercept, where the graph crosses the y-axis. What number is it? Negative 2. So find negative 2 on the y-axis. Put a point. Are we okay understanding that we need to graph the y-intercept first? It's the very first thing you graph in slope-intercept form. Okay? Slope is positive 1 over positive 1. So which two directions am I going and how many units? Rise over run. For my rise, it's a positive 1, so am I going up or down? Up 1. Right 1. It's a positive 1 as my run. Up 1, right 1. How many points do I want you to fit? As many as you can fit. So start at your y-intercept. Go up 1, right 1. From that point, I'm going to go up 1, right 1. From that point, up 1, right 1, so on and so forth. Keep going until you're off the graph. Everyone okay with how I got all those ordered pairs? Just kept going up 1, right 1, putting a point. Up 1, right 1, put a point. Can I fit any more on my graph anywhere? Yeah, which two directions can I go? Yeah. Change both my signs. They're both positive, so they both become negative. So that's telling me to go down 1, left 1. You okay with that? What's negative 1 divided by negative 1? Positive 1, so I haven't changed my slope at all. It just looks a little different. It helps me get more points on my graph. Down 1, left 1. As many as you can fit. Once you're done, stop. I got all the points I can fit. Now I'm going to draw my line through my ordered pairs. There's my graph of y equals x minus 2. You okay with that? How are we feeling after 3 examples now? A little better? Okay. Can I erase and give you another one? Y equals negative x plus 2. Y equals negative x plus 2. I'm trying to give you examples of these different types of slopes that you'll see. Is this slope-intercept form? Yes, it is. What is my slope here? -1. It's a negative x. There's no number in front of it. It's understood to be a 1. There's a negative sign, so I know it's a -1. How would I write -1 as a fraction? -1 over 1. So which two directions would I be going here for my slope? Down 1 because it's a -1 up top in my rise. And then what other direction? Right 1. It's a positive 1 for my run. You okay with that? What's my y-intercept here? +2. What do I need to graph first? Y-intercept. Y-intercept's 2. I know there's going to be a point on 2 on my y-axis. You okay there? Okay, like we said, we're going down 1, right 1 from my y-intercept. That's my starting point. Down 1, right 1. How many points do I want you to have? As many as you can fit. Once I can't fit anymore going that direction, which two directions do I want to go now? Up 1, left 1. The exact opposite of what I was just doing. Changing both the signs of my numerator and denominator. +1 over -1 now. Is my slope still -1? Yes. +1 divided by -1 is -1. So from my starting point, I can go up 1, left 1. As many points as you can fit. Once you can't fit anymore, connect your points to the line. Draw your arrows on your line. Questions on this example? How are we feeling? Good. Can I erase and give you another one? I got 2 more graphs for you. And then 1 more slide and then I'm done. Y equals 5x. Y equals 5x. Is this in slope-intercept form? Yes, it is. What would my slope be here? 5, right? It's the number being multiplied by x. How would I write 5 as a fraction? 5 over 1. Which two directions would I be going? Up 5, right 1. Everyone okay with my slope of 5 here? Any confusion on that? It's the number being multiplied by x, so I know that's my slope. What's my y-intercept though? Yeah, it's just 0. If I don't have a constant being added to my x term, it's just like I'm adding 0 to it. Does that make sense? So my y-intercept here is just 0. Okay? So, what do I need to graph first? 0. My y-intercept is 0. So find 0 on my y-axis. That's just the origin. That's going to be my starting point for this graph. That makes sense. From that point, I'm going to go up 5, right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. From that point, I'll go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 1. I cannot fit any more in that direction. So which other two directions do I need to go?
Down 5, left 1.
Down 5. left 1. That's me changing the signs of my numerator and denominator. Is negative 5 over negative 1 still positive 5? Yes, it is. So I have not changed my slope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 1. Down 5, left 1. Everyone okay with this one? Any questions how I got any of my ordered pairs, identified my slope, or my y-intercept? We okay with that? Okay. Can I erase and give you one more? Y equals 4. Y equals 4. Is this in slope-intercept 4? Yes, no, maybe so. You guys remember? Yes, it is. What's my slope here?
4.
Nope. 4 is not being multiplied by x, is it?
0.
0. This would be like y equals 0x plus 4. Right? You guys remember that? What's my y-intercept?
4.
4. How would I write 0 as a fraction? Yeah, I could go 0 over 1. I could go 0 over 5. I could go 0 over 10, 0 over 2. Let's just go 0 over 1 here. What do I need to graph first? My y-intercept of 4. So go up 4 on your y-axis and put a point. Slope is 0 over 1. So which two directions am I going? And how many units? We have graphed this using Hoivux before, but we can also graph it using our slope and y-intercept. I just want y'all to see it this way. So, up 0, right 1. So, I'm not moving vertically at all. I'm not going up or down, am I? I'm just going right 1 each time to get my next point. So, up 0, right 1. Up 0, right 1. Up 0, right 1. So on and so forth. What other two directions can I go? Down 0 and left 1. Is 0 over negative 1 still 0? Yeah. So down 0, left 1. So what kind of line does this create? Horizontal, which we already knew that because this is y equals a number, so it's hoi. But we still graphed it using slope and y-intercept, correct? If you get y equals a number, I'm okay if you just use hoi. You don't have to write all these ordered pairs. Okay? Everyone okay with that? Can I move on to my last slide? You will see some examples like this on your assignment. You get a verbal description of your graph instead of just an actual equation. A linear function g models a relationship in which the dependent variable increases 3 units for every 1 unit the independent variable increases. Graph g when g of 0 equals 3. Identify the slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept of the graph. Seems like a lot. It's really not that bad. Okay? So, first off, we have an equation in slope-intercept form. Is x or y my dependent variable? You guys remember? Which one's my dependent, which one's my independent? Any guesses? I mean, you got a 50-50 shot. Which one's my independent, which one's my dependent? X or y? Which one's which? What depends on what? Let me ask you this. When we created our tables of values, we picked the x values, right? And the y values depended on whatever x values we picked. So what's my dependent variable? Y. My y variable is my dependent variable. My dependent variable increases 3. So y increases 3. For every 1 unit, the independent variable increases. What's my independent variable? X. Is everyone okay with that? A y variable, dependent variable increases for every 3 units. For every 1 unit, the independent variable, the x variable, increases. The reason I put y over x is because slope is my change in y over my change in x. You guys remember that vaguely from our slope formula we saw a few days ago? It's my change in y over my change in x. So what's my slope here? If it increases 3, is that a positive or negative 3? Positive 3. My x variable increases 1, is that positive 1 or negative 1? Positive 1. So my slope's just 3 over 1. Does that make sense? Okay. What other information am I given? Not g multiplied by 0, but g of 0 equals 3, right? How does that help me out at all? How would I write that as an ordered pair, I guess I should say? Well, what'd they replace x with? In parentheses. 0. So what's my x value of the ordered pair? 0. What's the y value that you get when they plugged in 0? 3. If I have 0, 3, what is that? It's an ordered pair, but which ordered pair specifically is it? It's my y-intercept. The y-intercept occurs when x equals 0, right? X is 0 here. Here's the y-intercept. I've got my slope. I've got a y-intercept. Is that enough to graph it? Yeah. So let's graph our y-intercept first of 0, 3. And then which 2 directions am I going from there? Up 3. Right 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. What other 2 directions could I go? Down 3, left 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. And 1, 2, 3, 1. So there's my graph. I graphed g when g of 0 equals 3. It's the first thing it wanted. Identify the slope. What is my slope? 3 over 1. That's the next thing it wanted. It wants me to identify the y-intercept. What is my y-intercept? 0, 3. And the last thing, it wants me to identify my x-intercept. So I really just need to look at the graph. Where's it crossing my x-axis? Negative 1, 0. Have I done everything it's asked of me? Yep, I'm done with the problem. You okay with that? Questions, comments, or concerns on that? Okay. How do we feel about slope-intercept form and graphing in it? Feel better than we did at the beginning? Okay. Here's your assignment. Pages 141 through 142, 1 through 23 odds, 25 through 36 all. And I'd usually make this due Wednesday. Let's go ahead and make it due Thursday. Let's do Thursday on Canvas. The 9th. Thursday the 9th on Canvas. Any questions about any of the notes before I end the recording?